Okay, Rachel. So today I'm asking you about Broken Basket Woman.
Yeah.
Where did Broken Basket Woman come from?
Wow. Well, she came from a meditation I was doing. I have a technique that I use where I go into my room and I talk to my inner wise woman. And this day I was in overwhelm, probably premenstrual, and I had all these broken baskets which represented different bits of my life which weren't working.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we had a talk about that. And then when I came out of it, I kind of also felt like a broken basket. I felt like I'd given and given and given from my beautiful woven basket so much that it'd become
Yeah.
frayed and the bottom had fallen out because it had been carrying so much for so many years.
Okay.
Which feels like to me, a really good metaphor for menopause. I think women arrive at the threshold of menopause having given, 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 and they have nothing left to give.
Okay.
And it's like, that's it, no more. It's me time.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay. I love the name. I think it's perfect. I think
thank
it's
you.
not. It doesn't sound like it's just a perfect metaphor. It's a perfect metaphor. I love it. I love it. So, um, you got these broken baskets. You're feeling like a broken basket in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
Um, And so what happened then? What did you do with that information and all the lead up to it?
Well, I suppose also at the same time, I'd kind of put out a survey to my customers to see what they actually wanted. And something like 90% came back saying they wanted information about perimenopause and menopause,
Really?
which is where I'm at right now. I'm in
Okay.
the thick of it. So I have been blogging about this for a couple of years. And I've experimented with so many different kind of natural methods. I'm determined to do menopause consciously. I'm the kind of person that I'm not into taking drugs, taking hormones, all that kind of stuff. So I'm using the tools I've got, which are my cycle charting and my meditation, my inner wise woman, to get through this threshold. And then that's what I feel like I've been going, going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. And then what ended up happening from all the kind of research and the things that I've been doing, I just came to a place of acceptance that actually this is a totally natural thing that all women go through. This is part of our journey as women. Our fertility wanes and eventually stops, and our cycles stop, and we die. Basically, that part of our life dies, and we're reborn as wise elders, and it ain't an easy journey. So the course kind of came out of, I want to hold other women. I want to kind of be a container for other women while they go through this. And the reason I wanted to do it online was because energetically, you're in quite a low place when you're going through menopause.
Yeah.
It's like being premenstrual all the effing time.
What?
and, and then the bleed, and that you're in low energy. So for me, it felt like an easier way to hold groups. I'm not actually physically having to hold them. I'm not having to book workshops. I can talk to you as easily as, talk to my women as easily as I'm talking to you. Turn the computer on, have a Skype, or just sending them information out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of, so it's a transition for me as well, kind of moving from physical workshops into doing more online stuff
Yeah.
to hold my energy better.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds great. Um, so I'm curious, what happens to your cycle charting as you go into perimenopause? Because I'm guessing there's still patterns maybe, but it just
Yeah.
goes into chaos, does it? Or
It's kind of chaos, but there's also patterns. So for me, it's been even more important to keep charting, because I know a lot of women who just go, oh, my cycle's all over the place, I'm not bothering.
yeah.
But I'm noticing a pattern with my hot flushes. I'm noticing a pattern with my night sweats and my insomnia, all these beautiful gifts that perimenopause brings. And because I'm seeing a pattern, it means that I'm able to work with it. For me, they all come kind of premenstrually. My premenstrual week,
Yeah.
I'm getting 2 hours of sleep. I'm flushing all over the place. So that's when I'm upping my self care.
Yeah.
That's when I'm asking my kids' dad to kind of take the kids. I can't deal with them.
Yeah.
I need to really focus on me. So it'll be different for everyone.
Yeah.
But and my cycle's been all over the place, and then it comes back to a 28 day, and then it goes to a 21, and then,
Okay.
so there's no map anymore. And that's what can feel scary. The map's gone.
Yeah.
So it's making your own map, really.
Okay.
Kind of really having to listen to yourself and find what your own map is.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you go through that, like, what sort of tools are in the course that you recommend? Let's pick one that helps you kind of. What I'm hearing is the chaos hits.
Yeah.
And stuff in your life is dying off. Effectively, you as you were is no longer, and you're in a transition period. What's one thing that's helping you find your center and your way through in the chaos?
So I would say my main anchor has been journaling, and that's one of the things that I encourage women to do on the course. And I've also written a PDF of kind of questions, self-inquiry, because it's also a point in your life where you just can't be arsed with the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore.
Oh,
I mean,
great.
the highest rate of divorces and separations and women changing jobs, moving house, all that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
So again, it's about encouraging women to do that. If they're going to do it consciously and not just walk out of something that actually may not be the right thing for them to do. So really, really looking at the patterns. I mean, for me, I moved out of the place where I lived. I've left my relationship, and I look back over a year of journaling and cycle charting, and premenstrually every month, I want to get out of here. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
But I was looking back, I was thinking at the time, oh, I just want to be in my moon lodge. I just want to not be with the kids and be with my husband. But actually, I can now see it was the whole situation wasn't serving me. So it's kind of helping women gain those insights for themselves, really.
Yeah. I guess, and I'm guessing as well, like, trusting what's underneath that, trying to get underneath those emotions that do come up that are very real and very valid. But what's the truth?
Yeah.
That's really shining there. And I think that can be hard to get to sometimes, especially when we've maybe been disconnected from our intuition, maybe even our cycle as well. And we just, that's what I found anyway with a few women in menopause. And there's a light in there that's trying to shine and come through. And there's a truth in there that's always been in there. But I mean, we have different chapters in our life, but menopause just seems to go, well, that's it. Time's up. Stop messing about. We're off. And it seems like an accelerated transformation from the outside anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess we're not trained in that in our culture really, and we don't grow up with that, and there's many things in our school system that we don't learn, and it can't teach us everything, but how to actually transform with some element of grace and chaos I think is an awesome thing to provide. So thanks for putting that together. I think it's a much needed resource.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say about it?
I suppose what I found really interesting, as I've been having a conversation with a few women recently, we've been relating perhaps menopause to birth, in the fact that lots of mothers forget what it's like to give birth, which is why they then have another baby. And lots of women who are way past menopause are going, oh, I was fine. Oh no, nothing like that happened to me. But then what's interesting is if you speak to their children, like my mum's like, oh no, I was all right. Nothing really went on. Had a few hot flushes. I remember crazy woman in the house.
Okay.
Quite a lot of my friends are saying the same thing about their mothers, and yet their mothers are in complete kind of denial or the forgetfulness about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite interesting. So that's something else I've been kind of looking at. I mean, for me as a parent, what concerns me the most is that I don't become crazy woman for my children.
Yeah.
And I don't want to reflect that for my daughters particularly. I don't
Yeah.
thinking you hit menopause. I mean, I remember my mum going, "I'm gonna go to the nut house." Really, it was. I mean, you do feel like you're going crazy. Stuff comes up and you're like, whoa, seriously, do I need to be sectioned? And that's where the holding needs to come in, because you need to hear other women going, I feel like that too. Yeah, I feel like Carly today. I want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
It's okay. Me too. It will
Yeah.
pass. So, yeah. And the other thing that is also interesting about kind of, talking to women, older women, they weren't living the stressful lives we were living. So
Yeah.
perhaps their menopause was easier. I think there's a big element of the physical symptoms being linked to stress.
Yeah.
We're living far more stressful lives, whether it's juggling careers or children or whatever it is. And for a lot of women, they're mothering through menopause. They've put their career first and they've had kids later.
Yeah.
And naturally, at this point in our lives, our kids should have left home. This should be me time. And that's another thing. I think a lot of women, like my mum, it was empty nest time.
Okay.
And she didn't really talk about menopause, but she talks to me about having no one to look after anymore and having to find herself. It was the first time in her life she was spending time on her own. And that is big for a lot of women who've been busy, doing, giving, to suddenly, I mean, it may not happen suddenly, but when the last child has gone, it's just you and your husband looking at each other going, what the hell?
What happened?
Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Yeah. What we going to do now? So it's really about supporting women with all. It's big. All that comes up. Yeah. And regrets for women who haven't had children, kind of like the end of their fertility might bring up a lot of grief and sadness.
Yeah.
Even if they've consciously chosen not to, it's a hormonal thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of layers.
Yeah. And it seems to last a few years. It's not like this couple of months where, I've gone through transformations, intense things for a couple of months and even 6 months and stuff. But I'm thinking this looks like a 2 or 3 year stretch.
Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Women 13, 14 years, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping that there can be a bit of a conscious choice in there. Yeah. I have been putting out I'd like this all to be finished by the time I'm 50. Mm-hmm. Putting that out there. Who knows?
Okay.
But I did have some insight a few months ago. I wrote a bit about it in my blog. If we think about maybe the archetypes of womanhood, so we've got the maiden, mother, the premenstrual that I call enchantress, and the crone, we're in maiden for about 12 years.
Yeah.
We're in our mother maybe for about 30.
Yeah.
So why should the enchantress only be 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, that's a good point.
She's been ignored for a long time. Yeah. This fourth, well, we've got crone, but we've had a lot of maiden mother crone, and she's been really ignored, and she's a bit pissed. I think she's been ignored. So for me, it's this is the time where she's really going, it's my time. Yeah. And my time is about clearing the crap, getting rid of the mundane.
Yep.
Really getting clear about where we're going, what we're doing with our life. Come on, Rachel, pull your act together.
But get your basket rewoven.
Exactly. Time to kind of really look at what you're doing. So I'm not expecting it to be over in a few years, but who knows? What I am doing in the meantime is cutting out as much stress in my life as possible.
Yeah.
Giving myself more spaciousness to be with myself and do the things that my womb and my body really want me to do. Yeah. So this afternoon I'm off to the beach.
Lovely. I think that's really landing with me too, because I'm 42 this year, and I can feel it coming. It's not quite yet, but it's coming. And I think even just knowing that it's going to be a stretch, it's going to be like, don't even think about it ending. Just focus on the transformation, focus on some tools, focus on cutting out the stress, already doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that's really helpful for a lot of women to hear as well. And I think the power of community in this is awesome because, yeah, we can feel like we're going mad when we're transforming. And if it goes on for a long time, yeah.
And actually what you're talking about is also what we've learned from charting our cycle. You know, we learn that in certain parts of our month, we need to up our self-care. We need to drop the stress. We need to drop the bundle so that we can bleed. Yeah. It's a really similar pattern. It's just stretched. It's just so much longer. Yeah. It's not just a week of like, I need to up my self-care. It's like, okay, you know, how can I do this for the next few years?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I just wanted to ask as well, finally, like if people are watching this, women are watching this, and they haven't charted their cycle, like all is not lost.
No. I love one of the books I read recently. I think it might have been Leslie Kenton. She says at this point, women at menopause or at the threshold of menopause, you become moonstruck. So whether you've charted your cycle with the moon or not, you just suddenly have a pull to nature, to the moon, to connecting more. You know, you look around you, a lot of older women do like to garden. They like their flowers. They like their plants. It's like something in you wants you to connect with the natural elements. So that, you know, it's in there. It's in there, whether you've been doing it for years or whether, you know, you've been blinkers on just doing your career or whatever. Yeah. It will call you.
Oh, like a wolf in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So Women Who Run with the Wolves, read that book, keep reading it over and over and over.
Notes in the margin. Yeah, everything.
Such women's wisdom in that book. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if women are interested and they want some support, where do they go for your course?
Okay, so it's on both moontimes.co.uk in my kind of books and courses and cycle charting info, and it's also on my personal website, which is rachelcrow.co.uk. Okay. And I've got a whole online teachings page where they can find it. Okay. And it's open until the end of July, and then I'm going to close the group for a bit.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your tips and information and honesty and your broken baskets. I'm lighthearted about it now, and I'll talk to you in about 5 years. So you'll get a little call from me, Rachel, and then you just know. There'll just be a picture of a broken basket coming, like, all right, come round.
Yeah, and I'm feeling lighthearted about it today. You know, if you'd interviewed me on another day, I might have been more broken basket woman. Yeah. But I'm on day 12, feeling good.
Okay, day 11 here, feeling good here. Happy to be on camera as well. Yeah, all right. We did it at the right time then. Okay, thanks again, Rachel, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Melanie. Bye.